guys, it's Kelly here again and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another bookish related video. It has been a while since I showed my face here on my channel, but I decided that since I now have my desks and I am in my new apartment and I set up this whole little recording area, I might as well just do it because I really like talking to you guys and I like talking about books, and I do love shooting my desk and doing art videos, but I also really want to get into talking more about books again and talking more about TV shows and movies, because that is originally what I was planning to do with this channel, kind of combine books and geeky stuff with art and bullet journaling, because those are kind of my passions, and I wanted to create a channel that kind of embodies all of them. So to all the new subscribers, this is kind of a mini introduction of what this channel is about, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you stay tuned for more, and let's just get into some books. For this video, I decided to share some 5 stars predictions with you. I am a very slow reader. I don't read a lot, but this month, it's the month of May that I'm currently recording this, I have so far read 5 books, which is insane for me. That's usually like half of a year for me. I don't give 5 stars that often. I usually, the most given rating for me, at least I think, is 4 stars, because if I enjoy a book really much, that wasn't even grammatically correct. If I enjoy a book a lot, I give it 4 stars. If there's just like the teeniest little bit holding me back from giving it 5 stars, that's usually concerning the amount of concentration I had, how much I enjoyed it, and if there was any topic that I didn't feel 100% like it was presented the best way, or it rubbed me the wrong way. So 4 stars for me can mean that I really loved the book, but there was just like this little one thing that I would probably change in order for it to get 5 stars. So 5 stars is reserved for my absolute favorite books that I can overlook the things that weren't exactly 100% for me. So if I can overlook it, then I would give it 5 stars. So for this year, I have yet to give a 5 stars to any book because I have not read that many, but at this point in the year, I would usually have at least one. So I gathered a few books that are on my more immediate TBR, books that I want to read this year preferably, that I think are going to be 5 stars for me. I have a few that are physical and a few that are audiobooks, and I will give you 10, that's 10 5-star book predictions. The first book that I have is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I read The Humans last year from him and I absolutely adored it. I love his writing style, I love his sense of humor, and I really love the aspects and the premises of his books. So this one is about a woman in her mid-30s whose life has not gone the way that she planned. She has a lot of regrets and a lot of things that she wishes she did differently in her life, and she unfortunately decides to commit suicide, and by doing so she reaches a midnight library, which is the place between life and death, where she gets to experience all of these different versions of her life if she had made certain different decisions. So this one obviously deals with a bit of a heavier topic. There's trigger warnings for suicide and suicidal thoughts, depression, but I am hoping that because I know this author can write very heavy subjects with a very interesting perspective and a very unique sense of humor, and present them in a way that is not just too damn depressing. So I'm really hoping that it's not going to put me in a bad mood. I remember in The Humans there was also a bit touched upon depression and suicidal thoughts, so it was handled very elegantly. So that's kind of what I'm hoping in this book. And also the reason why I think this is going to be a 5-star read for me is because it reminds me so much of one of my absolute favorite TV shows, which is Being Erica. And that basically had the same premise. You had a woman whose life was filled with regret, and she gets the opportunity to go back in time and change some of the things that she regretted and change her life basically. And if you have not seen this show, please go see it. It is the most amazing thing in the world. I don't even know where you can find it, but please try your best to find it because it is the best thing that ever happened to me. It is my all-time favorite show. Yeah, that was about the show, but again, about the book, I definitely hope I'm going to give this 5 stars. The next one I have is a really chunky one. So this is the Priory of the Orange Tree, and as you can see, it's humongous, and it is very far up on my TBR list. I really want to read this. I have been wanting to read this since I got it, and I am going to drop it on my head. Oh my gosh. So yeah, let's not break any pinky toes here. I know very little about this book. I know that it is an epic fantasy about dragons, and it's a standalone. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. So I think I'm going to really enjoy it. I am a little bit worried because it's such a big book. It's gonna have a lot of content in it. And I usually, what happens is where there's a lot of content, there's usually like one or two things that I don't resonate with. That is completely normal. So I'm kind of worried that that's going to affect my rating and it's not going to be a full 5 stars. But also I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy it so much that I'm going to overlook that. So this is another 5-star prediction read for me. The next book that I have is An Ember in the Ashes, which is again a fantasy, and this is a cult favorite here on booktube. I have yet to read it, and again, I don't know much about it. I just know that it's a fantasy. It's, I don't know, a girl that meets a soldier and they embark on a journey to change their world or evolve in their destiny, something along those lines. I have no idea actually. So it's very popular on booktube. I'm sure you've heard of it, or maybe you've even read it. I really hope that I'm going to enjoy this enough to give it 5 stars. Next one is a fairly new one, and it is The Invisible Life of Addy Larue. I absolutely love the premise of this one. It is about a woman who kind of makes a deal with a demon or the devil or some dark creature that makes her immortal. So she gets to live forever. The only catch is that nobody remembers her. After some time that she's experienced being alive, she actually finds somebody that remembers her, and that kind of changes the whole thing. Again, one that I'm highly anticipating, and I really love the premise. It kind of reminds me of the first 12 Lives of Harry August, was it? It was a book, it was a YA book that I read as I was starting booktube, and I really enjoyed it, and it kind of reminded me because Harry August would relive his life from beginning to end over and over and over again, and I really like the premise of somebody reliving lives or days or living forever and experiencing different things. It sounds very interesting, and that's why I think I would give it a 5-star rating. The only thing is that I have heard like a few things that might not be perfect in this book, but I am hoping to overlook them. The next book that I have is a bit of a weird one, and it is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. I really hope I said that right. So this is a tiny one, and I think it's written in verse, maybe, or not. I don't know much about this one either. I know something along the lines of a philosophical book about existence and the soul and things like that. I know that it's a classic, and I have heard nothing but great things about it. I really want to read this. I think I would really enjoy it. I know it's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but it sounds like a 5-star read for me. Next up, we have something that's more sci-fi, and that is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And this is the Bulgarian version. Some of those are the Bulgarian versions, please include that. But I have yet to read this. It's a little beat up because my grandma actually read it and she gave it the seal of approval. She is an avid sci-fi reader. She absolutely loves anything connected to sci-fi and aliens, and she absolutely loved this book, and she told me a little bit about what it was about and what she enjoyed. So I'm definitely thinking that I'm going to love this. It's about, I think, the crew of a spaceship who are going to a planet to repopulate it or something like that, and the crew is made up of humans and different aliens, so you get to see different races and different traditions, and it just sounds incredible. It sounds very interesting, and I am so sure that I'm going to love this book that I already ordered the second one. The last physical book that I have is Invisible Planets by Ken Leo. It's edited and translated by Ken Leo. I think it's from different authors. This is a short story collection. It's a short story collection of all different. Yeah, let's just say it's a sci-fi short story collection about all different versions of our future and how different Chinese authors imagine our future. So I have read by Ken Liu a short story collection. All of the short stories were his, and I absolutely loved it. I'm sure that whatever he picked to put into this anthology, I am going to love. So short stories are never really something that I give 5 stars to, just because, you know, they're so different, and you're gonna love some, you're gonna not really like some, but I am positive that I'm going to enjoy most of these, so that's why I put this one in here. The next 2 books that I have as audiobooks. I don't have them physically, so I'll just put the cover on the screen. The first one is Red Sister, and what I know about this is basically how Emily from Books with Emily describes it, and it is about badass fighting nuns. That's all I know. So it's a fantasy about a young girl orphan who gets raised by these badass fighting nuns, and basically she needs to survive and change the world, I think. So that's basically all I know about it, but it sounds very interesting, and I've heard a lot of great things about it, so I am positive that it might be a 5-star read for me. The next one is The Last Magician, and I've heard about this one once or twice here on BookTube, but I believe it's an older one, so not a lot of people talk about it right now, and it is about kind of like a Merlin story. We have a magician who discovers his magic, I suppose, and he starts training to be a magician, and it sounds like an epic fantasy, and there's a lot of magic in it, and I think that I'm going to really love it. I love the Merlin the Merlin variations and inspirational stories, so I am very eager to find out what this one is. And the last one that I have is Kindred, which I also heard about from Emily from Books with Emily, and it's about a woman from the future who is a time traveling agent, and she travels back in time in colonial times, I believe, and she goes back again and again and again in order to save a specific person. And I have heard that this book is just heart-wrenching, and also I really love the idea of time traveling, and apparently there's some kind of reason why she goes back to this specific time. It sounds incredibly interesting. I've heard it's written beautifully, so I am positive that I am going to really love this and give this 5 stars. So that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was a bit different than what I usually post. I hope you stay tuned for some more bookish content and some more art content, because I am not giving that up. I am still going to try to upload I guess a bookish content and then artistic content and then bullet journal content. So I'm gonna try and mix and match them. So I do hope you enjoyed the content that I have in store for you guys, and yeah, so comment, like, and subscribe if you like what you see and would like to see more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.